Chapter 13 to 15. Huh. Damn it. This look. Cell muttered, his expression darkening as he observed Goten's transformation. It's exactly the same as Gohan 8 years ago. Did this guy use the pressure I gave him to break through his limits? A sense of foreboding settled over Cell. He had initially regarded Goten as a mere plaything, a disposable toy to be discarded at will. Yet, in a startling turn of events, the boy had surpassed his own limitations, becoming a force to be reckoned with. Perhaps his current strength was comparable to that of Gohan back then, though Cell remained confident in his ability to emerge victorious. After all, he had vanquished Gohan before, and he could do so again. And during the past 8 years, even if he hadn't trained much, his strength had improved a lot compared to before. At this time, Krillin also stirred from his unconscious state. He opened his eyes in a daze, and then beheld the electrifying sight of Goten. Blue electric arcs flickered around him, a sight all too familiar to Krillin. It was a form reminiscent of Gohan's, the very form that had nearly eradicated Cell once before. "It's incredible," Krillin murmured, his voice filled with awe and admiration. "Goten, you've finally broken through your limits." At this moment, Krillin was extremely weak, but also extremely excited. He had already resigned himself to death, only to be unexpectedly saved by Goten's newfound power. Perhaps this was a blessing and a curse. "Krillin-san, take a moment to rest now. This battle will be over soon," Goten instructed, his tone detached as he gently nudged Krillin aside. With a swift motion, he deposited Krillin's limp form on the ground. Then, his indifferent gaze turned to Cell. "Do you truly believe that by breaking your limits and attaining this form, you are qualified to be my opponent?" A derisive smirk played across Cell's lips as he retorted, "I might as well tell you that your elder brother Gohan also broke through this form, only to meet his demise at my hands. Of course, you are no exception." Despite a momentary surprise, Cell's confidence remained unshaken. While this form may have posed a threat to him 8 years ago, he was certain of his ability to prevail against Goten now. 8 years ago, Cell had easily dispatched Gohan by exploiting the young warrior's vulnerability. It was Vegeta's reckless actions that had ultimately sealed Gohan's fate. Gohan's arm was severely injured while trying to save Vegeta. If not for that intervention, Cell knew that the outcome would have been different. But now it was completely different. In those 8 years, even if he didn't train very seriously, Cell's power had only grown. And it was more than enough to kill this brat who just broke through. "Is that so? Don't be too sure, Cell." Goten's voice was as cold as his gaze. "I said long ago that you are doomed to die by my hands." The moment the voice fell, Goten vanished from sight, leaving only a fleeting afterimage behind. In the blink of an eye, he reappeared before Cell, delivering a devastating uppercut with unyielding force. Boom. The blow struck before Cell could react, sending waves of agony coursing through his body. Pfft. Purple blood spayed from his mouth as he was sent hurtling through the air, disbelief etched upon his features. Stunned and reeling from the unexpected attack, Cell clutched his abdomen, still seemingly in disbelief that Goten's newfound power exceeded even that of Gohan at his peak. But, damn, how is this possible? This stinking brat is stronger than Gohan was at that time. Cell's disbelief was palpable, his face twisted in shock and uncertainty. And unlike Gohan, this kid was too decisive. He wasted no time in launching another relentless assault, denying Cell even a moment's respite. Whoosh! With a swift motion, Goten's form blurred once more, executing a lightning-fast 360-degree turn before delivering a heavy roundhouse kick to Cell's neck. Rumble! Cell's body smashed directly into the ground, creating a massive sinkhole in it. Huh! Without hesitation, Goten blasted out a barrage of energy waves with both hands. Boom! 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 Rumble! Explosions echoed across the battlefield as the ground shook violently, mushroom clouds billowing into the sky like towering monuments of destruction. Goten knew well enough that his onslaught alone wouldn't be enough to vanquish Cell. Even with his newfound power as a Super Saiyan 2, defeating this bioengineered menace would be a formidable task. But he had achieved his primary objective. He didn't use Ultra Instinct before. The main purpose was to use the oppression and crisis brought by Cell to break through his limit and become Super Saiyan 2. With that accomplished, Cell's existence lost its value. Thus there was now no need for him to exist. Rumble! The earth trembled once more, blue lightning crackling ominously. Ha! Cell's defiant roar pierced the air as the ground fractured and fissured like a spider's web. Whoosh! Cell burst forth from the ground, propelled by sheer determination and fury. The battle was far from over. Cell had unleashed his full power, enveloped in jet-like golden aura flames and crackling blue electric arcs. He had transformed into his super-perfect Cell form, akin to the Super Saiyan 2 transformation. "Brat!" Cell growled through his gritted teeth, his voice laced with both pain and fury. "It's been many years since anyone made me feel such pain. You've truly surprised me and made me angry. I will let you have a good taste of the fear that is scarier than hell." Cell clenched his fists, and the golden aura flames around his body became more violent. The blue lightning flashed like little snakes in the golden flames. Crackle! His aura intensified. Yet, Goten remained unperturbed. "Is that so?" he replied calmly. "Don't be so presumptuous, Cell. While your power is formidable, even in my current state it would prove challenging to defeat you. But," Goten continued, his tone resolute, "my objective in facing you has been achieved. There's no need to prolong this battle any further. Next, I will completely erase you in an instant." After saying those words, Goten's form reverted from Super Saiyan 2 to his normal state, leaving both Cell and Krillin baffled by his sudden decision. They didn't understand Goten's approach at all. To defeat Cell, the Super Saiyan 2 transformation seemed their best chance at victory. But now he had exited the form of Super Saiyan 2. What was this guy trying to do? Cell was in disbelief as he stared at Goten, his mind racing with incredulity. Is this kid really that foolish? He wondered, his thoughts teetering between confusion and amusement. Or was he so frightened by my overwhelming power that he lost his will to fight? For Cell, Goten's decision to abandon the Super Saiyan 2 transformation seemed utterly nonsensical. It was their best chance at defeating him, and yet, Goten had chosen to relinquish it willingly. This was completely a foolish behavior in his eyes. Wahahaha. On the side, after being dazed for a moment, Cell suddenly started laughing crazily. The brat in front of him had really good potential, but his personality was much more arrogant than both Goku and Gohan. After exiting the transformation, he still wanted to kill him in a flash. It was simply a dream. "Don't be silly, Goten. You can't be careless right now," Krillin urged, his voice tinged with urgency. "Hurry up and change back to your previous form, or you won't stand a chance against Cell." Under normal conditions, Cell would definitely be able to kill Goten in an instant. But Goten paid no heed to Krillin's warning or Cell's laughter. This game had grown tiresome, and he had no interest in prolonging it any further. "Enough games, brat, I have lost interest now. Since you seek death, then I'll help you." Cell spoke, no longer wanting to continue playing around with Goten now. For some reason, a feeling of uneasiness lingered in his heart. He felt something might go wrong if he kept playing around for too long. Just like when he dealt with Gohan, he almost got himself killed. The moment Cell's voice fell, he lunged towards Goten and blasted out with a heavy punch. He didn't hold anything back this time, and used all of his strength. His speed also increased to extreme in an instant. Even if Goten was in his Super Saiyan form, he would not be able to resist this attack at all. It's over. Krillin's heart sank as he watched. He couldn't understand why Goten would do this. He had obviously broken through to Super Saiyan 2 transformation, and reached the strength that Gohan had reached before. But why would he suddenly give up resistance? In this case, the Earth was completely hopeless. Die. Haha. Cell roared and laughed wildly. After killing the brat in front of him, no one in the world would be able to stop him. Just as Cell's fist closed in on its target, Goten did something unexpected. He suddenly closed his eyes and shifted his body slightly, evading the blow by mere centimeters. At the same time, silver aura rose from around the body. What? Cell was in disbelief, no? Impossible. How could this brat escape my attack? Goten had forsaken the power of Super Saiyan transformation, yet he had somehow managed to dodge his attack with ease. It defied all logic, leaving Cell with shock and confusion. Swish! Almost at the same time, Goten's eyes suddenly opened. A silver crescent flashed in his eyes. Immediately afterwards, silver light suddenly radiated from around the body. The temperature of the surroundings suddenly increased in an instant. At the same time, the silver light formed a beam of light that directly pierced the sky and soared into the sky. What is this? Cell's voice trembled with fear as he staggered backward, his mind reeling with disbelief. Could this be a higher form of Saiyan transformation? Impossible, absolutely impossible. How could this brat comprehend a higher level of Saiyan transformation? The very idea seemed inconceivable, yet the evidence before him was undeniable. His keen perception made him realize that Goten before him was very dangerous now. Perhaps, as he claimed before, he possessed the power to eliminate Cell in an instant. That's what's going on. Silver aura? Is it also Saiyan's transformation? Krillin, too, on the side, was left completely bewildered. He had never witnessed such aura before. All of the Saiyan transformations he had seen before had a golden aura around the transformed individual. But currently, Goten was enshrouded in silver aura flames. And I can't sense Goten's ki at all. What exactly is happening? At the same time, he also felt that Goten's energy signature had completely disappeared. He couldn't sense it at all. It was as if Goten had turned into an android, completely devoid of any key signature. This was just too weird. Just when Cell and Krillin were both in shock, the silver beam of light began to dissipate little by little, and the figure of Goten appeared in front of the two of them again. His body was still surrounded by otherworldly silver glow. This was the Ultra Instinct sign. The air was filled with tension, an overwhelming sense of foreboding washed over battlefield. Goten's eyes were calm and resolute. They exuded a sense of oppression that struck fear into the hearts of all who beheld him. This time, he completely intended to eliminate Cell in an instant. In the face of such overwhelming power, Cell's heart was instantly surrounded by endless fear. He felt as if death had enveloped him. Damn it, I refuse to believe in such nonsense. Cell gritted his teeth tightly. He felt as if he was in an illusion. He refused to accept that he was feeling fear. With a roar, suppressing the fear in his heart, Cell rushed directly to Goten. But before he could even take a single step, Goten's fist collided with his chest with devastating force, piercing through his flesh and leaving behind a gaping wound. "It's over, Cell," Goten declared, his voice devoid of emotion as he unleashed a powerful energy wave that engulfed Cell in a blinding flash of light. In an instant, Cell's form was consumed by the explosion, his body disintegrated. Bang! Dang! All that remained was a severed head that fell to the ground, eyes wide with horror and disbelief. Yet his life force rapidly faded away. Cell was actually dealt with? At that moment, Krillin was in astonishment as he lay on the ground, struggling to find words to express the shock and excitement in his heart. He had initially assumed that Goten had reverted from Super Saiyan transformation due to feeling Cell's strength and chose to surrender, only to witness instantaneous defeat of Cell upon his transformation into an even more powerful form. "That boy," Krillin remarked with a wry smile. "With strength like that, he had me on edge the whole time." Despite his initial apprehension, Krillin couldn't help but feel relieved and overjoyed at the outcome. Had Goten shown his strength from the beginning, Cell would have been killed long ago. Ding! Congratulations to the host for picking up Cell's abilities and 100 million basic combat power. At this moment, the system's announcement quickly rang in his mind. Goten didn't feel too surprised by this either. He understood that fighting stronger opponents would yield greater rewards. As for the abilities of Cell, they didn't actually have much use for him. Cell's arsenal of abilities might have been diverse, but it didn't offer any significant advantage in combat. The only notable aspect was his regeneration ability, though it paled in comparison to Majin Buu's regenerative ability. With the battle over, Goten chose to exit Ultra Instinct mode, as it put a lot of strain on his body. He couldn't hold for too long in that mode. After exiting Ultra Instinct, a tingling sensation hit his body instantly. He instantly ate a senzu bean to avoid the repercussions of the huge strain the transformation had put on his body. At this moment, the sound of a helicopter suddenly sounded in the sky. Rumble. Soon a helicopter appeared in Goten's sight, adorned with the insignia of a renowned TV station. Goten didn't bother to pay attention to these guys and focused on aiding Krillin, offering him the last senzu bean to hasten his recovery. "Goten, what was that form you took? Was it another Saiyan transformation? It was amazing. You managed to kill Cell in an instant." Krillin looked at Goten in shock, excitement, and admiration as he asked Goten about his recent transformation. "No, that's not a typical Saiyan transformation," Goten explained, shaking his head. "It's more of a state of being, but I haven't mastered it fully. It's incredibly draining to maintain. So, it is generally not suitable for use." Hearing Goten's explanation, Krillin was even more surprised. Goten was able to create such a powerful ability on his own without anyone's guidance. This kind of talent was a testament to Goten's remarkable potential. Meanwhile, the helicopter came near the battleground. Krillin took a look at the helicopter above his head and was disgusted by them. Those despicable guys are at it again. To him, these individuals only knew how to grovel and sing praises to that fool Satan every day. Now they were back to join in the spectacle once more. The helicopter touched down. Everyone aboard the helicopter was immensely shocked upon witnessing the aftermath of the battle. What kind of battle was it that could destroy a place like this? It's no wonder that the earth shook so violently just now. A few minutes later, 5 or 6 people got off the helicopter. Among them was a very familiar figure, sporting a wild mustache and unruly curly hair. He was clad in his signature coat with a golden belt cinched at his waist. This eccentric individual was none other than the world-renowned Mr. Satan, self-proclaimed savior of the world. According to the previous news the media released, after the blonde delinquent youth and his sidekicks were all defeated 8 years ago, Cell originally planned to destroy the Earth, and it was Mr. Satan who scared Cell away. Of course, it wasn't true. This was what Satan told the media. Thus, in the eyes of humans, he became the Earth's savior. Where is Cell? Where is Cell? As soon as he got off the helicopter, he looked around for Cell and asked in a calm voice, but he was panicking internally. Mr. Satan, look, there are two people over there. They look very familiar. The photographer immediately pointed to Krillin and Goten and said in surprise, "Ah, yes, I remember them. I saw them 8 years ago when I was fighting Cell." When Satan saw Krillin and Goten, his entire body stiffened with fear. Didn't those guys get killed by Cell? How did they come back to life? If these two revealed the truth of what had transpired all those years ago, his status as the Earth's savior would be in jeopardy. Oh no, it's terrible. My stomach. I can't do it. My breakfast is acting up on me. It hurts. No, I'll have to go back right now. Satan quickly came up with an excuse. He feigned a sudden bout of stomach pain, a well-rehearsed excuse for evading difficult situations. Mr. Satan, we were worried that you would have a stomachache, so we have already prepared an on-site portable toilet. But his plan was swiftly countered by his attentive entourage, who had already prepared a convenient solution. To them, Satan would always have an upset stomach whenever it was an important event. They had long been used to this and had made preparations for it. Caught off guard by their quick thinking, Satan was stunned and suddenly felt speechless. I feel like I've been tricked by these guys. In the end, he had no choice but to bite the bullet and walk in front of Goten and Krillin. TCH, it's this despicable guy again. Krillin looked at the approaching Satan and said in low voice. Last time, he took credit for the fight in which Goku and Gohan's sacrifice repelled Cell and portrayed himself as a savior. And now he wants to take all the credit again? Not again. It was quite lucky that this guy was not killed in the previous battle. Krillin voiced his disgust at Satan's shameless antics. Although Goku and others didn't care about such things, Krillin felt very angry at his despicable behavior. Goten raised his eyebrows slightly. Despite the character's comedic role in Dragon Ball, it was indeed a despicable act to take credit for the sacrifices made by others. His actions left a sour taste in his mouth. He didn't like the character of Satan very much.